Well, hello everybody. Here's a new map for me and an entirely new game. Farming Simulator 22, and this map is called Hobo's Hollow. Now, I've looked at the map a little bit, but I can't say that I know it all that well, so this is going to be an adventure for me. And it's the first video I'm attempting on Farming Sim 22. Actually, let me just take a little bit of flight up so we can look over this map. I see those trees blinking over there, and I really don't know what's going on with that. Uh, maybe it's coming into fall, and the trees are trying to change colors. So, looks like they're all blinking. And I really don't know what that is. Maybe someone will tell me it's a problem on my particular computer. Be all that as it may, I'm just looking over our barnyard here, and maybe I need to go up a little bit further just to get some more perspective. This is a special thing for me. One of my friends that I met a long time ago in the world of farming sim, and when I say a long time ago, boy, it's probably been over 5 years, Atomic 67. He offered to me here the other day, this been a few weeks back, and said, hey, why don't we try a joint series where we share this map that he had been working on called Hobo's Hollow, the one that we're on, and you do an episode and we'll share the same save, and you pass the save to me and I'll do an episode and we'll just swap it back and forth. I think he had observed this uh, with someone else, and it was Reefy 1952, also known as Mike. I think he did that with someone else, and I've watched a lot of Reefy's videos. I don't know that I've come across the particular instances where he's done that with another player, so I forget the other player's name. So I really don't know where all this is gonna go, but I'm very much looking forward to it. First off, because anybody that knows Atomic 67 knows that he's a nice man. He's he's been a whole lot of fun to get to know over the years and interact with, and it's one of those things. When you meet someone over the internet, I've never met him face to face, although I hope to someday. But just like any other friendship, that a person will build, there's times where almost hourly you're conversing with this person that you've never met. And then there's times where it may even go a week or two where you don't say anything at all to each other, and then all of a sudden there'll be opportunity to converse or something. So whatever it is, I've just enjoyed my interactions with him over the years, so I'm really looking forward to giving this a try. And for some reason, he asked me to go first, and I I hesitate really to do that. Here I am sitting up here in the air, just kind of staring around like a dim bulb, primarily because I'm going to be discovering this map on these episodes, just like anybody else would. But oh my, look at those trees. They are blinking everywhere. I wonder if it's a setting on my machine. I can't imagine it's doing this to other people. Sorry, get distracted there. But I think it sounds like a whole lot of fun, just to get to spend some time with him and work on this project. And when I say work, he's already done a bunch of work, not only in game, but also in the basic barnyard. And I gotta say, I've never downloaded this map off the mod hub. Uh, he did, and as I understand it, he's made a number of changes, updates to it, and I think a lot of it is right in this area here around the barnyard, setting it up kind of how he wanted to see it. So maybe at some point I'll download the original and take a look at it, although I need to be careful that I don't go over the top of what he's done here. That'll screw up the save game and causes all sorts of difficulty. So that was kind of my first motivation for wanting to do this. And if anybody is listening to this who has followed my channel because you have pity on me and you come by to listen to whatever it is I'm saying, you know that the videos I have on there currently are from the older versions of this game. I've got a couple series going, a Farm Sim 15, that's pretty old now, and I have one on 17. And I gotta say, I'll just mention, I kind of skipped going through 19. I didn't really care for it as much. I thought 17 was a better built game. And when 22 came out, oh, I don't know. I just kind of lagged getting into it, and so I'm hoping working on this series will kind of provide an opportunity to, get involved with 22. So we're gonna give this a try. We've got our Google Drive all set up so we can trade the save game file back and forth. Atomic has already started his work on it somewhere in here, and we'll look at a map he's created in a little bit. He has some bales. Yeah, you know, I'm an accountant by trade, and sometimes people think accountants are super organized and everything. But I gotta say, I think Atomic would beat me hands down in terms of organizing things. You all ought to see what all he prepared for me to try to help get me up to speed on what this map was about, some of the things he's done, where he's put things, all the way down to preparing a map that indicates what equipment is stored in a particular building, which fields we own, and so forth and so on. And so we'll see that in a little bit. So I'm going to enjoy working with him. This is my gateway to Farm Sim 22. I think I'd like to learn to mod a little bit on this. I'll maybe talk about that a little bit later. Um, well, maybe I'll just mention it here real quick. It won't take that long. If we look at the map, you see there is some water features on here, a river, some ponds, one that isn't very far away. Something I did for 19 for another map author, and I'm hoping to work on it here again, is the concept of flooding. So when it rains for a certain period of time, does that fill up the waterways and cause the water level to rise, which can cause issues on the farm. And I don't know if I'll be able to do it on this map. It all depends on how high the hills are. If it's super flat, it might be really kind of difficult to have the entire water table, kind of just cover the map. So I'll kind of have to analyze that a little bit to see what I'm able to do here. But that's something I have in mind for modding. So maybe let me put that down. I got to get used to the interface here on 22. I look at this little circular map, which I'm sure for everybody else is old hat. So that no matter where you're facing, your player is always headed forward, and then you have the traditional one that shows north, south, east, west orientation, and then the big map. So pretty cool. So something that's all that I already did is, oops, let me get that back up. I have already plowed field number 3. I guess that's kind of over here with, if I can point towards it. I kind of did it just to get started a little bit and see what I could do on here. So I did that in the middle of the night. I have fast forwarded it to morning here, 7 a.m. And you'll notice the time isn't moving. We have a mod installed. I think it's a developer mod. Shoot, I can't remember what it was. It's just one where you hit F12 and you come in here and there's all these different things you can do in the game, one of which is stop time. So right now it's paused. So while I'm talking here, I got to remember to turn it on though once we start doing something. So why don't I go to, we'll just let it sit here. I want to show you all his map that he made. Let's see if I can find it. And here it is. Aha. So I don't even know how much to say about this, but look at how cool this is. This is looking at our farm. We've kind of been just floating in the air right about out here. So we're surrounded by our fields, and he's put in shortcuts to the fields. He's put in other areas we have to come in if we have a super long trailer, a different entrance we take to the farm because it's pretty narrow kind of coming in over here. He's indicated what is stored in a particular building, where to get seed, fertilizer, fuel, and so forth. Why, some of this font, I gotta put my spectacles on, see if I can read it. Just indicating where all the stuff is to try to make it easier for this knucklehead, me, to see where things are. He even installed a bale storage mod so we can store silage bales in there. He's made a whole strip of them already. And this too is interesting. You know, we all have our different ways of how we work on Farming Sim, if you will. I haven't done many wrapped bales. I've tended to stick just with conventional bales, you know, dry it out, bale it up, and sell it as is. So I'm kind of intrigued to do a little bit of bale wrapping, but if I did it, I would probably most likely just do it in the field. So I'm kind of interested to see the system he has set up here where he has this machine to do it on the farm. So what's this? Oh, field side fuel trailer. Okay, fuel trailer sitting there. We have a yeah, this is an interesting barn to go in over here. When I first opened the map, I gotta say I spent a fair bit of time in this building here. He has a John Deere 6600 combine, fairly small combine, and the related headers in there. Back on the farm where I've worked, which was on Lone Oak Farms here in Oregon, growing up, we had a 6600 side hill, and we had another one, a 6602, which was a full hillside combine. So I think the side hill would self level, like when it followed the terrain, and if it was on a slope, it would level up to a certain percentage of slope. Side hill maybe went, oh my, 17%, something like that, whereas the full-on hillside could level up to about a 44% grade, so quite a bit more. And we had two of those. So I'm kind of curious to see how this works. I hope there are a few slopes in here where we can use it and kind of see the power of the hillside as it goes across. It's very useful when you have slope. It helps maintain your combine capacity. Otherwise, you have to slow way down, and it just doesn't do a very good job threshing. I also was intrigued in here. He has a 2280. I want to look at that in a little bit. I spent a lot of time looking it over. And I know this is a mod kind of carried over between versions. So it's maybe not a new model, but I'm kind of intrigued by it. You know, I do have a FS17 save going on Lone Oak Farms. And hey, that's kind of what we used back in the day. It was a 2280 in the when we windrowed the grass to prepare it for summer harvest. A few things over here. So just really cool of him to put something like this together. And you know, I hadn't looked at this much in detail here the other day. But I see now, oh, if I can get rid of that out of the screen. Uh, how do you get rid of open with plus minus? Oh, good grief. Anyway, maybe there's no way to help it. Look at this sharing of information. I mean, this is why I say Atomic is just awesome. Showing me, teaching me, development console commands that I can use to do certain things in game. Some people maybe refer to that as cheating. I mean, to me, it's just kind of a helper. I generally don't like to cheat, whether it's to add money or that kind of thing. But sometimes, especially if you're a modder and you need to test something, it's helpful, to be able to do some shortcuts. Store delivery, I'm not sure what that is. Oh, is that where they deliver it from the store to your farm? See, that's something else I gotta learn in here. I'm used to the days when you would set up something like a course play or auto drive. I've used both of those mods quite a bit, and Atomic teases me about it all the time, but I have added the course play mod into this. Whether I use it or not, I don't know. I almost kind of like having it as a security blanket, but it can be very useful. But this here, this store delivery, I almost think that that's where you buy something and somebody somehow delivers it out to the farm, maybe. Kind of like how auto drive works. And so I'm kind of intrigued to see how that goes. Yeah, easy development control. Yeah, there's all of our tractors. He's documented it down to the horsepower that each has. We got some really good tractor motive power on the farm, and then he's matched it up with the implements, indicating not only what we have, but how much power it takes to run it, and how much capacity it has, and so forth. He also put on here we have just 5 fields at the moment. Number 1 is in grass. Number 2 is already in sorghum. It's in the process of growing. We'll see that in a little bit. 3 and 4 have nothing in it. Leastways, I hope not, because here the other night, I think I plowed number 3, and I think I'm going to go plow number 4. I don't know that it has anything in it. I think when I did number 3, it had just, it was just a texture of soil in it. So all I did was field work. It's getting ready for planting now. Maybe a few rocks to pick up, which also is something new, by the way, to me. So perhaps what he's saying here is that's the crop we're going to first put in there is oats, which I was kind of wondering what we would put in there. So either he or I will stick it in the ground. And then we got some corn in field number 5. Oh yeah, it shows over here. Looks like it's grass on here. I think that's already planted and growing, so we'll uh we'll we'll just deal with that when she's ripe. And then even instruction down here, lease when needed. So I've kind of teased him. He's done his best to make it idiot proof, with the idiot being me. But I'm sure I'm gonna find a way to screw it up. And I gotta say, I already have. Field number 3 is right here. So just to kind of run some tests or whatever, I I plowed this field, started over here, and when I say plowed, I hired it done. I'm pretty lazy that way. Plus, I can't drive as straight as the hired guys, so I just hired it done, started him over here, and of course he ended up over here, maybe down here somewhere. So I figured, well, I'm close to the road, I'll just drive on down and come over here and get over to field number 4. Well, let's just say I don't know how to drive the best, and I took out a sign, I think somewhere in here. I took out 2, maybe 3 mailboxes. So I haven't even been here hardly 10 minutes, and I think Hobo's Hollow already wants to kick me out of the county. So I haven't done very well. So my apologies to the locals. Maybe I'll just leave that map up as it shows most of the farm. Or maybe, you know what? I can come back in here. Let's get on our map. So the area we are farming, this is showing north, south. See, I think his map showed it coming this way, and we're looking at it now. He was looking south, now we're looking north. North is up kind of in here. So we have just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This shows all of our fields here. But something to keep in mind is this map is what's called a 4x map. In other words, it is 4 times the size of a standard map. So a standard map would probably, the far left edge would be about here. It would come up to here and go over to here. So about 1/4 of what we see is the size of the normal map. Like the maps that come with a game. So it has 3 more blocks on it, just as big, so it makes the whole 4 times the size of the standard. And I believe the standard map is 2,048 meters on an edge. So to make it 4 times, you just double that. So it's 4,096, almost 4,100 meters, from here clear over to here. So I think that's 4 kilometers, right? Yeah, we don't use the metric system here in the States, so I apologize if I have that wrong. So just a little over 4 meters on a side. But at the moment, all we have is just this little bit right here. I say little. Uh, Atomic is the one that windrowed and baled this field, and I think by the time he was done with it, he was glad to be done, and it wasn't little to him. So here's the grass, the sorghum. We're plowing these. Corn's going to be coming in here, and it looks like we have some forest back here that we could dive into if we wished. Maybe, I don't know. Do we own the? Oh yeah, we do. Okay, great. Actually, you know what? That's something to see. So, apparently we own everything that's blue, right? So kind of around the edges, if you will, which I understand why that is, just kind of leaving it open. But here's our block. We have farmland and forestry. Good to know. All right, so back to here. We can just look in real quick and see it's 4x. So here's the one I plowed. This is an old color. This is going to take some getting used to for me, because in previous versions, I almost think that this light blue, oh, maybe I'm all wet. This is just something to get used to. I guess what it's telling me is it's ready to be seeded. This one up here says it's plowed, but I know it hasn't been, because when we go to another one, well, let's just go there now. Yeah, these two are growing, the sorghum and the corn. And, oh, look at that. The grass is ready to harvest already again. That must be from shifting forward a day. So, this now, maybe some of the, yeah, we need lime. Yeah, see this up here? It just turned color, so it needs plowing up here, even though it says it's already been plowed. And even though it's hard to see, I think there are some rocks in here we'll need to pick up. I'm not going to pick them up right now. I think I'll wait till this one is done. And then maybe we can pick them up together, or I can do it off cam. I don't know. This is all an adventure for me. Looks like we need some fertilizer down there. Anyway, this is what we have to work with here. So I think probably to honor the map author, the original one, what I wanted to do was just briefly read his description. And this map is on the main mod hub, at farmingsimulator.com. And he describes it here as Hobo's Hollow 4X. Welcome to Hobo's Hollow 4X. Enter the land the time forgot, where the weeds grow thick and the hobos roam free. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means we're going to have weed problems and random people showing up on our farm, but I guess we'll see. So he says there are 57 fields of various sizes and a selection of forestry plots to suit all your logging needs. The map includes a selection of empty plots that are ideal for production placement or maybe starting a new farm. There are 8 sell points, sawmill, debris crusher, etc., and a starter farm with everything you need to get started on new farmer mode. Now, we're not exactly starting that way. Atomic has already done some things in here to get us kind of going. I'm not sure how many hours he's already played it. I think we could probably find it somewhere in the stats. We won't worry about that at the moment. Okay, he says here, benefit from a custom growth calendar which allows double cropping. Plant a winter crop and harvest the next summer. If you are quick, you can plant again and harvest in the autumn. Well, okay, I guess that's something to keep in mind if we really want to be astute. That may be a little difficult to manage if we're passing a save game between us, but who knows what we can try. So he just says, step back in time on Hobo's Hollow with your very own taste of rural USA. Have fun and happy farming. And then he has some other lists of changelog. Anybody that's ever done any mapping work knows how difficult it can be to catch everything. So a lot of times when they release a map and it gets out to the public, there's a lot of things the public can bring forth to help the modder and say, hey, this is broken over here, because there's just so many details to keep track of. So, when I think about this and starting this up, I gotta say there's something else on my mind too. Maybe before I even start farming. And this is something I gotta figure out how to do. Maybe this is right on it already. This is in the purchase menu. My goodness. Yeah, this is totally different from previous versions. Construction. I want to put in. I want to get a dog for the farm. I didn't talk this over with Atomic. I hope he's okay with it. And hopefully there isn't one here already. I'm trying to look around the house and see if I don't see one there. Is there anything around the farm? Hopefully this isn't making someone seasick. Okay, I don't see any puppy. About a month ago, maybe I'll just put him in the backyard. That work? Where would a puppy be happy? There's a little flatter area. It'll just be his area, her area. But about a month ago, we lost a dog. And I'm not going to belabor all the details here. I know I put that in another video. And it isn't the point, I guess. Hey, that looks like a paw. Aha. Does a doghouse come with a dog? Maybe it does. Anyway, we lost our puppy, and she was run over on accident by one of my brothers who came through our place. And this dog routinely, would approach vehicles. It's just one of those unfortunate things that happen. What I didn't know or realize is just how much it would impact our family. And I know sometimes a pet can become part of the family, or that's kind of how they feel, how we treat them. And so I gotta say it's been really tough to deal with. So I know this is $2,500 atomic, but I'd really like to have a dog, so I guess I'll have to work extra hard to make up for this. What I can't tell is how is this turning the right way? Okay, so that turns me this way. How do I turn this? Is there a way? How do I turn this the other way? Well, shoot, I can't figure out how to turn it to a different orientation. So maybe I'll just put him back at the house. Now, is this someplace that's accessible? I guess we have kind of a porch. We can come back here. Maybe it's too far out of the way, and it would be better to put him more by the front of the house. Maybe I can just put him right here. Bink. Achievement unlocked. Whatever. I need to start the time going. Oh, looks like we got a bicycle to ride on there. I just want to check it out. Oh, wait a minute. What's that noise? That sounds like a dog drinking water. Is that what that is? Okay. Alright, well, I'm going to have to figure out, this doesn't appear to come with a puppy. I'm hearing noise of a dog drinking, but I don't know where the dog is. Okay, I don't go to an animal dealer to get, well, let me see here. Now, this is all equipment. Animals. Oh, that's equipment to do. I'm gonna have to figure this out off cam or something. I say off cam. You guys can't see me. You're only stuck hearing me. How to get a puppy. I got him a fine looking house. I just don't see him. Now, maybe there's something in the help menu. Fill bowl. Looks like a water bowl. Okay, there's... Why am I hearing so much water? Yeah, I just don't know what all this means, so maybe we have a dog, maybe we don't. I don't know if he's roaming around the place or whatever. But, you know, I figured that would be the first thing I wanted to do on our farm is to get a puppy. We still are missing our dog, and yeah, wish we had her back. She was a lot of sunshine, and I gotta say, it's like so many things in life. You don't always appreciate what you have until it's gone. And I'm not trying to make some special statement and saying that. I'm just realizing that I had to learn that lesson over again. Um, so, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that's had to learn that. But maybe we could do some farming here. Now, this we saw on the map. This is where Atomic is to act a few bales. Maybe we can get to the ad in a little bit. I don't know. I was kind of just zipping around here. This is out here. Oh boy, there's a lot of bales out here, field number one. I almost think it said it was ready to mow again. Isn't that what our map said? Grass is in field number one. Yeah, it says it's ready to harvest, so I guess that's maybe it'll grow a little bit more. Hmm. I wonder why it's not letting me. Oops. Here we go. This is the one I wanted to get to. And you know what? I'm probably just going to hire this done. It'll be nice to do this in daylight. So I'm going to get him a going. Oh, and maybe what I'll do, let me turn the time on. You know, it's interesting. This newer game allows you to do half speed. I think the slowest in the other games is 1. Apparently this is like a plow. Looks like I'm tearing out the grass. Is it raining? Oh my goodness. Ah, good times, good times. Alright, so while he works on that, I wanted to come in here. Yeah, this is something I wanted to see. Here's the 2280 windrower, which Atomic used to cut our hay. I gotta say, that looks pretty good. Let me back in. How come my vehicle entry key isn't working? Is it because I'm in flight mode? Aha, that's what it is. So yeah, when I sit in this seat in here and I look at this, someone did a really good job. Can I move this around? That's the HUD for the course play. It's nice to have it movable. Yeah, this is exactly what we had. The 2 pedals on the floor. I think you can get up to 4. We had another on the left side, as I recall, that was a header tilt, or one of these was a tilt forward and aft, if you will. The one over here, I think, would tilt it side to side, like if you were cutting a ditch or whatever. But yeah, this here, you push this lever forward to engage the cutter mechanism up front. There's a telescoping drive shaft PTO coming out of here to engage the header. This here was ground speed that you could run. That's a throttle. Yep, it all looks familiar. So yeah, I haven't looked over this mod, but that has my approval. It feels familiar. Yep, and a radio up ahead. So I went over and I looked at this header. It's interesting. The header that we had, or that we used on the farm, was a little bit different. It didn't have, and I wish I could point something right here, maybe that little thing there. Here's the telescoping drive shaft, the kind of a PTO shaft, if you will, that gets hooked up to the machine. But it also had these other 2 shafts here, and I think the power is coming out of the side of the header here, and it's coming and it's powering this conditioner unit. I think this is a hay conditioner. I think if you look, I get down on my knees, you can just see under there, there's these big rollers, crimpers, where when you cut the grass, it's going to come right through those crimpers and it bruises the grass, makes them bleed a little bit, and helps the drying process, helps it with the hay. Well, when you're harvesting grass seed, you don't need that unit on it. So I gotta say, on the farm, we never had this part here. So, but everything else looks familiar. I don't know where Atomic found this. He and I have talked. Oops, can I get around this post? We've talked over the years, and I think I must have told him we had a 300 twin knife. That's exactly what we had. And it's really interesting just looking at this and looking at the details of it. I mean, this is set up exactly. It's a spitting image of the headers that we had on the farm. So Like I say, this may not be of interest to anybody other than me. I'm just intrigued to see this equipment that looks so similar to what we used on the farm when I worked there. It's called a twin knife, I think, because it actually had two sickles. A lot of times in a header, you'll have just one sickle, and the sickle, by the way, is right on the bottom. Like if we, oh, I don't know if I can see it at this angle. It's the part that cuts the grass. That's this gray thing, all these jagged teeth down here that you see on the bottom. There's two of them. A lot of times in a header, they have only one sickle in there. Well, the twin knife had two, and it would be run from both sides of the swather. You know, there's this round thing right here, which I believe is called a wobble box, and the mechanism turns it. You don't see it on here. We'll see a picture maybe in a moment. There's a belt that runs this, and the sole purpose of it is to move this little arm back and forth, which in turn moves the sickle so it can do its job and cut off all the grass. Pretty cool. And so there's one on this end, and then there's another on this end. I don't know if you can't really see it. I'm trying to steer in by it. Oh yeah, look at that. We have a special license plate on all of our stuff that says Atomic. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, you can't really see it on there. It's got the shield over the top of it. But I just started comparing this to real life pictures, and maybe I'll zip to one of those real quick here. Um, yeah, this is the wobble box. You can see kind of how the belt comes in and it's hooked up. You know, the power from the header comes in at the top, and so it's going to run this here. There's going to be a shaft going clear to the other side. It's going to run the other side. This is the other side that we see here. Yeah, the model doesn't quite capture this one here. I believe that this is the second wobble box that's going to run this other sickle over here. I don't know why they have two in there. Maybe it takes a little less power. Yeah, I couldn't tell you why there's two. All I know is that there was. Oh, maybe there's another thing we can look at real quick. Um, just jump up on here. Yeah, and again, I realize I may be the only one interested in details like this. I'm just looking at this header, and maybe this is what it has if you run hay, but you see those metal rods sticking out there. There's a lot of combine augers on headers that have those rods, and they're retractable. They're made so that when they come to the front, they come out long like this, and then they sweep under the auger as it turns to kick material back towards the feeder housing. Only this is a swather, so I wouldn't think you would need this. Plus, they obviously don't retract. That'd probably be brutal for a modder to figure out how to do that. Um, but I know in the case of what we used it for, if you're harvesting seed, you surely don't want to beat out the seed right during the windrowing process, as you still need to bring the combine through. So I looked at it, but I couldn't remember what was on there in real life. I don't really have a picture from my days on the farm. So I found this one online. There's some type of thing in there. It doesn't look like it's retractable fingers, but be all that as it may, that's kind of just looks like it's a machine that's on auction. Might be kind of fun to have one of those. Although it appears this one has definitely seen its better days. So yeah, so take that for what it's worth. I'm looking forward to using that machine. Tomic has everything all set up here, ready to go. I think those are other doors that can open. Here's a side hill 6600. Looking forward to that. I guess those are the headers for it over here. There's so much that could be seen, and you know. Oh, hey, there is a dog. Hey, puppy. Um. Well, look at that. Maybe we do have it, or is that something else? Oh, I wonder if that's some deer. Oh, for goodness sake. Why did I think that was a dog? My goodness, there's deer all over the place. I wouldn't think the deer would come around here once they know we got a dog. Yeah, more. That is really curious. It's like there's some sound right here. I'm gonna have to figure out what that is. And get us a dog. Anyway, I think I've probably bored people enough for this episode. I forgot to start the timer. I don't even know how long we've gone. Um, I think it will take Atomic to describe all the stuff that he did on here. I'd like him to describe that when he gets to his episode if he wishes. I certainly can't take credit for that. I'm just kind of enjoying looking around and getting acquainted with this new game. And I got to figure out that flickering graphic thing with the trees. Probably because I don't have a very strong computer. Like if I put on, yes, a whopping 17 frames per second. That's just abysmal. But it's good enough that we can do a little farming. So anyway, maybe one last thing. I'll just kind of head out to the field here and I'm kind of cycling through all the equipment here trying to, yeah, he's making some headway. He, she, whoever we've hired to go in here. So making some headway on this field. So thank you all so much for watching. This is a new adventure for me. We'll see where all this goes. And hope you all have a wonderful day, whatever you're doing. And I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye for now.